Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Deontay Wilder's trainer talks Luis Ortiz being back in the picture and stringent drug testing. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working. Also, shout out to the TuscaloosaNews.com. Link is in the description so you can read the article verbatim. They talked to Wilder's trainer, and they asked him about just everything heavyweight division, JD's, and he says, and I quote, "We really put it out there that we were ready for the Anthony Joshua fight, and we put it out there so strong that we made Joshua's camp say what we knew all along, which is that they don't want Deontay right now." They even came out with a video where Eddie Hearn, which is Joshua's promoter, said, I quote, "Deontay, we're ready, we're here, we want it, but first we want to do this other fight," which is another way of saying that we're not the holdup, they're the holdup. Now it looks like what could be happening is it could be a top 4 heavyweights in the world fighting each other, and the 2 winners fighting for all the belts. That would be Joshua versus Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, and then the 2 winners would meet. I think they're trying to put Joshua and Parker at the end of March, so we're trying our best to get in before that, to get in February or early March. There's a lot going on right now. We just want to be back in the ring as soon as possible. We got some good momentum, no injuries, no hand issues, no cuts, so there's no reason to wait. He also talked about the Luis Ortiz fight in the future of that being rescheduled, which was supposed to happen last November. And he says, I think the odds are pretty good that the fight occurs with Luis Ortiz. Yes, Ortiz did test positive. That's the 2nd time he's done that. They've really given him a lifeline. The WBC has given him every chance to succeed. What happens is he was hit with a really hefty fine, and now he has to go under really stringent testing. He has to be clean all the way through. I think they have let him know, one more strike and you're done. He knows it, and he would have to be an absolute idiot to test positive or take anything, even an aspirin or a multivitamin, end quote. And that's from, again, Wilder's trainer, JD's. So shout out to him. And I'm going to give my thoughts. I agree with everything he says. I mean, none of it is really reinventing the wheel to me. A lot of it's common knowledge. We've seen Bermane Stiverne brutally knocked out. I was personally at the fight, covered it as media. 1st round knockout, and Wilder after that moment continued what he had been doing, calling for the unifications, and he really had his sights on Anthony Joshua, and everything from Team Joshua did not really seem like they wanted the fight next. We heard like even Anthony Joshua after he beat Carlos Takam, I thought it ended in a weird way. I thought the premature stoppage kind of tainted it. And I mean, not taking anything away, Joshua was clearly winning, but I don't like stoppages like that. But even post-fight, they were like almost prying Joshua to call out a name, and he didn't. You know what I mean? And then Eddie Hearn, I think, was the one that got on the mic and was like, yeah, we'll fight Wilder. We'll fight him in 2018. It will happen. You know what I mean? But Joshua didn't really do a stern call out. I was at the Barclays, and after Stiverne got knocked out, and that was Wilder's mandatory, he said, "Hey, Juicy J, when you gonna fight me?" I talked to Wilder personally and got a video walking with him after he was probably going to an after party or whatever to celebrate and hang out. And he literally told me on camera, he said, "Joshua, run, Joshua, I'm coming." You know what I mean? So we know that Wilder wants to fight. And don't give me this, oh, but Wilder wants 50-50. Who cares? Listen, this is the thing. If you know anything about business and you know anything about negotiations, you always bid or start your price point high. So as you negotiate and work down, even if you don't get 50-50, you didn't start so low where there's nowhere to go but down. For example, let's say I'm Wilder and I said, oh, I'll take 25%. And then Eddie Hearn's talking about, hey, my star does this numbers, X, Y, and Z. You're not worth 25%. Now I can't go up. Oh, hey, give me 35. He just said he didn't want 25%. He didn't want to give me that. So the only place you have to go is down. It's very simple. Very simple in terms of business metrics and whatnot. It makes all the sense in the world. Like, I could understand, and within reason. You're not going to say, oh, give me 90% and give Joshua 10%, knowing Joshua is a big star, has a good following, and he has 2 belts, and Wilder has 1. But 50-50, Richard Schaefer, he said that's not, he said for that size fight, it's the biggest fight in boxing. He said, so it's not unrealistic. And he doesn't directly manage Deontay Wilder. And he's been in the business for a while, from Golden Boy to his own shit with Ringstar, right? So it's just simple. Some people, oh, but Wilder, they're trying to see, listen, this is what happens with boxing. This is why I don't like talking boxing with some of y'all, because you're unrealistic. And some of you guys, it's like Wilder was doing basically what Lomachenko's doing to Gervonta Tank Davis right now, calling him out, trying to make him look bad. But the difference is Tank has no belt, and Wilder has 1 belt, and then Joshua has 2 belts. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different when you want to pressure a fellow champion. So Wilder put all that pressure on AJ and AJ's side, Eddie Hearn, to make the fight and try to make him look bad. So now the diehard radical Joshua apologists, when they heard the 50-50, then they jumped on that real quick. Like, oh yeah, see, he doesn't really want to fight. He wants to sell his belt. And then they try to flip it. Like, we're too old for these games. We see what's going on. They're trying to flip it and spin it because Joshua was being pressured heavily by Wilder. So now when some negotiations, the price point is very high, right? Then you try to flip it like, oh, see, Wilder doesn't really want to fight. He said 50-50 or no deal, right? Joseph Parker said the same thing. He started his bid, and he's had less title defenses. He's been a champion for a lesser amount of time, and he's had lesser performances than Deontay Wilder. And he still started his bid at 50-50. And then they worked their way down. This is simple stuff. I mean, fighters all the time say whatever. Floyd said, oh, hey, Pacquiao, I'll give you $40 million, no pay-per-view back in. The fight didn't happen after that point, and later on they kept negotiating, and then the fight happened, and Pacquiao got much more than $40 million. End of story. This is negotiations, and like I said, a lot of people are trying to flip it because they're trying to get some get back for the pressure that Wilder put on Joshua. End of story. And you know I'm the king of analogies. One last analogy is this. Let's say you go to an auction for an automobile or for a car, right? And they have this car, and you're willing to spend, let's say you have a lot of money and it's a really nice car or whatever, and you're willing to spend $75,000, right? And the bid is only at $15,000. You're not gonna be like 75 immediately after 15, knowing you have up to $75,000 that you want to spend for that car. If the bid's at $15,000, you'd be like 16,000 or 15.5 or whatever, and they'll be like 15.5. Anybody wants going twice? Go. You know what I mean? The auctioneer does his thing. You don't just jump up to your maximum, and that's like almost the reversal of this Wilder stuff. He said 50-50. I don't know how stern he is with that. Maybe that is what he wants, but it's a negotiating tactic so you don't get shortchanged in the long run. Now that I've cleared that up, like I said, I personally believe the fight didn't happen next because of Team Joshua. I mean, Eddie Hearn. I mean, listen to what people said. Why is Eddie Hearn throughout Dillian White and nobody's talking about that? How come? Because they know Wilder might fight Luis Ortiz, which is, most people would say, is the better fight. Even though Luis Ortiz is ranked number 3 and they have Dillian White ranked number 1. You know what I mean? So again, Eddie Hearn throwing out that piece of bait. Why is nobody talking about Dillian White and Wilder anymore? You know what I mean? It went around for a month or so, a couple weeks, while Eddie Hearn was saying that, and now nobody even cares about that fight. But those same people, those same radicals were saying Wilder was ducking Dillian Whyte, because you know Luis Ortiz looked better in his last fight than Dillian Whyte looked versus Robert Helenius. Speaking of Luis Ortiz, it's a good fight. Props to him and Wilder if they get it done. And I agree with Jay in terms of if Luis Ortiz fails another drug test, I mean, it's a wrap. You're only going to get a certain amount of chances. So it would be stupid when all odds. That's like Margarito cheating with para or plaster or whatever, plaster in his hand wraps in the Cotto rematch or something. It would just be, that would be what they're looking for. So don't give them a reason. Let me know what you guys think. Good stuff in the heavyweight division. AJ versus Joseph Parker, and then Wilder versus Luis Ortiz winners can meet. I like it. Drop it in the comment section. Link in the description. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.